everybody? Welcome back to another TVOS production. Today, we'll be going over Week 1 of the NFL season, the Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday games from Week 1. We'll be highlighting the key players, breakout players, disappointing performances, games of the week, and key injuries. Just here to give you as much information of Week 1 of the NFL season if you have not watched it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to today's video and to the channel, as it will help us tremendously. And let's go ahead and hop into it. Starting off with our key players, our first key player is none other than Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, who went 33 for 46, 394 passing yards, 30 rushing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. He played a great game in that comeback for the Bills. Closed off that fourth quarter with one of the best fourth quarter performances that we've ever seen. And he played just as good as he did in that divisional game against the Chiefs a few years back with that almost comeback. Josh Allen, he was very impressive. They started off the game pretty shaky, starting it off. But like how I said, that fourth quarter, he really did a great job of, leading the Buffalo Bills to a comeback win with that game-winning field goal. Very good performance. He's definitely still an MVP favorite. He's my MVP favorite right now after that performance. Not to discredit, Lamar Jackson. He had a great game as well. But I think Josh Allen was obviously the key player, and he was the MVP of that game, because without Josh Allen, the Bills really, there's no other really quarterback that could do what he did that game. So big props to Josh Allen, number one key player for today's episode. And our second key player is Emeka Egbuka, Ohio State wide receiver playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had 4 receptions, 67 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. About Emeka Egbuka, he had 2 deep ball touchdowns, so he's been really involved in the deep ball game heavily. He was 4 receptions, 67 yards. He's one of Baker's top targets, of course. With deep ball, he also caught a few, little check down routes. But he's going to play a key factor in this Buccaneers offense 100%. He's definitely one of the steals of the draft. Great pick by the Buccaneers. He also had a carry for 9 yards. He did not lead the team in receptions, as that was Mike Evans. But you look at that. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Mike Evans, and then he was tied with Bucky Irving. So, like I said, Emeka Egbuka, he's going to be really involved in this offense. Don't expect this to be his only high fantasy point game. He's going to have many other of those games, as he's going to be involved really in that deep ball game. We know how Baker likes to, kind of just chuck the ball down the field. So Emeka Egbuka, our second key player for today's episode. Let's jump into the third. Our third key player. I want to stay away from talking about 2 players from one game, but you cannot run away from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is our third key player for today's episode. He had 18 attempts for 169 yards along with 2 rushing touchdowns. That is one of the most dominant performances that we've seen all of Week 1. And what could you expect? That's what Derrick Henry always does to the Bills' defense. A lot of his highlights come against the Bills defense with a bunch of stiff arms. He stiff arms one Bills player every single time they play. He stiff armed the safety, or it was like a rookie defensive back this game. He stiff armed Josh Norman that one time, and I want to say he stiff armed Tre'Davious White another time that we played him. So it's really hard, like how the commentators are talking about in that game. You have to set up a very strategic defense. You can't play too close, because you're not going to be able to track him down the field because he's fast. And you can't play too far back, or he's going to, no matter what, rush for a first down. So he was almost rushing for over 10 yards a carry. And this man also had 2 40-yard plus runs. I don't know if I said that right. He had 2 40-plus yard runs. This guy, if you're getting 1 40-yard rush, in a span of 3 weeks, that's crazy, right? A 40-yard rush, that's crazy. That's a key play. That's going to make the top 10 plays of the week if you're a 40-yard rush. But this man, Derrick Henry, had two 40-yard rushes in just week 1 alone. A very dominant performance. Like how I said, I don't want to talk about two players from the same game, but, I mean, if you played well, you're going to get credit when credit's due, and Derrick Henry 100% deserves that. He was, in my opinion, the second runner-up MVP in that game. As you know, Lamar Jackson, he did play really well, but Derrick Henry really controlled that offense. He did have that fumble in the very end of the game, which did cost him that game. But, I mean, 18 attempts, 169 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He played great. And we're just going to stay into this game, Bills versus Ravens. Both the receivers for this game, Keon Coleman and Zay Flowers, played great football. Keon Coleman, one of Josh Allen's number 1 targets. Now that we've set that standard straight, Keon Coleman is the number 1 target for Josh Allen this season. They talked about how they wanted to make him a true wide receiver 1, and that is what they did. 8 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. And Zay Flowers, who I'm pretty sure, sorry if I'm wrong, he was like the number 1 fantasy receiver. He had 7 receptions, 143 yards, and a touchdown with 2 carries and 8 yards. So yeah, these 2 receivers definitely are key players of that game. Without them, I mean, who would have known what would have happened? Flowers, 143 yards. I mean, he had more than 50% of Lamar Jackson's passing yards. Keon Coleman, 112 yards, more like double than Khalil Shakir's yards. And, yeah, 8 receptions is crazy. Another receiver from that Bills offense that I want to also talk about, Joshua Palmer. He did a great job closing out that game with that reception over Jair Smith. So I will talk about Jair Smith later. Or Jair Alexander, I'm sorry. Jair Alexander, I will talk about him later in that game. Or later in the video. Gosh, I'm stumbling on my words. I'm sorry. But, yeah, let's also talk about, since we're on the topic of 2 players with Coleman and Flowers, let's also talk about the quarterbacks from the Jets versus Steelers. These 2 quarterbacks, key players in week 1, key players in that game. They're both leading in stats. Rodgers leads in passing touchdowns, and Justin Fields is tied for first with rushing touchdowns. Rodgers, like I said, 4 passing touchdowns. He played a very surprising game to most people. A lot of people saw what he did for the Jets and didn't expect much for him this game. But you also got to think, Rodgers didn't have a terrible season last year. He had a terrible season for Rodgers. So you had to really lift up those standards as he's playing for the Jets, and now he's playing for the Steelers, who have a lot more, I don't know if I want to say a lot more weapons than the Jets did, because the Jets, had a lot of weapons with Garrett Wilson. They had Devontae Adams there. They had Breece Hall. But I also think that the offensive coordination for the Steelers is a lot better, and it's going to give Rodgers a lot more room and possibility to be as he used to be, in that, he was back-to-back MVPs with Packers, and he might have even been back-to-back. I'm not sure. I might have to recheck that. I know he's won 4 MVPs with the Packers, though. So he went 4 touchdowns, leads the NFL in passing touchdowns. Very dominant performance, deserves to be a key player. And Fields, like how we're also talking about him, he had a passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns. Probably one of the most surprising performances of the week, as I will hop into the breakout performances. Fields, he was on the key players, so he didn't make that list. But Justin Fields, very great game. A lot of people, like how I said, did not believe Fields would have a great game. They would expect him to be a lot more on the run game, which he was, but he still threw for 218 yards. He actually ran just as much as he had completed, 12 carries, 48 yards, but he also threw the ball 22 times for 218 yards. And a big part of that Jets offense was also Breece Hall, ran for over 100 yards. And Fields and Garrett Wilson, played really well together. 7 receptions, 95 yards, a touchdown. Garrett Wilson did drop that ball in the very end of the game, which did cost the Jets the game. But that's not going to discredit neither of Fields and Wilson's play. Like how I said, these 2 quarterbacks played really well, and they're going to be key players for their team the rest of the season. I can't wait to see how Fields and Rodgers play the rest of the season because they played really well these games. And like how I said, don't expect any change in their production upcoming because I really do think that these guys are going to, play accordingly to how they played. The Steelers' defense really good, Jets' defense really good. So when these teams play against a team with a lower defense, Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers are going to play really well. And other than that, I think that wraps it up for the key players. So let's hop into our next topic. Yes, most surprising / breakout performances players. Most surprising breakout performances / players is next, guys. I'm sorry for that mess up. And let's go ahead and hop into the list. So the number one most surprising performance of Week 1 goes to Daniel Jones. Yes, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. He's going to take home the number one spot. None of these are really in order or ranked. It's just what I jotted down just by the the importance off the top of my head. The number one goes to Daniel Jones with a big 33-8 win against the Dolphins. He went 22 for 29, 272 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Daniel Jones, this statement is crazy, but it is true. Daniel Jones has the same amount of rushing touchdowns as Derrick Henry. I mean, when you think of a guy like Daniel Jones, you don't think of him as a rusher, but he has, the fastest run in NFL history for a quarterback or just for a regular player. In general, it's either one of those stats. When he ran and tripped against the game in Philadelphia. So he is mobile, right? So he has 2 rushing touchdowns. Like I said, same amount as Derrick Henry. Also the same amount as a guy like Josh Allen. It's, I'm trying to think of other running backs throwing for 2. I don't know if there is. I mean, there definitely is. But, Daniel Jones, very impressive performance, winning 33-8. I mean, this Colts organization had the media had no hope for this Colts organization, with the quarterback room of Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. The media really had no hope for the Colts, and this big win, 33-8, is definitely a breakout performance for Daniel Jones. Everybody thought that the Dolphins' defense would smother Daniel Jones, but that is not what happened. Daniel Jones, like how I said, 2 rushing touchdowns. That is going to get you a spot on this list. Daniel Jones, 2 rushing touchdowns, same amount of rushing touchdowns as guys like Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Javonte Williams, Justin Fields, Josh Allen. Yeah, he's tied for first for rushing yards. So, congratulations to Daniel Jones for his great game. I'll actually be tuned into his next game 100% because I want to see if this was just like a one-time thing or if he's going to continue to put up these great statistics. And with our number 2 spot on the breakout players this week, we have Quentin Johnson, Los Angeles Chargers receiver. 5 receptions on 7 targets, 79 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Quentin Johnson, who is looked at as a draft bust due to his inability to catch the ball. This is no hate as well, but he was not known for catching the ball. He was known for dropping the ball. So going 5 for 7, 79 yards, that is a great ratio to yards per reception. And to, just clarify that, that's 15.8 yards per reception, and that is, that is 11.28 yards per target. So great ratio numbers right there from Quentin Johnson. He was one of Justin Herbert's lead targets that game in the win against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Quentin Johnson had a very surprising game. He's tied for first in the league with receiving touchdowns, and I would like to see the Chargers offense utilize him more for his size, his speed. He played really good at TCU. He was a big reason that TCU made the national championship, and I really do think he has pro potential. And I think with Jim Harbaugh's new offense, they tried to use him a little bit last year, but I think this year is really going to be his breakout season. So you will not see Quentin Johnson a lot on these breakout or most surprising because he's going to be known to be a great receiver. And, staying with the receiver list, let's hop into our third spot and our second receiver on this list, Jacoby Myers, the Raiders receiver. He had 8 catches, 97 yards. Great ratio to right there. He's averaging around 12 yards per reception, 12.125 to be exact. Jacoby Myers, without Devontae Adams being there on that team, I think that he will really step up. Even though Devontae Adams was on the Jets last year, you're definitely going to see a lot of a bigger target gap to him and the other receivers. Him and Brock Bowers are not going to 50-50 split the targets, but with Geno Smith, he's going to throw out there to Jacoby Myers a lot. So he will step up, and I'm telling you, Jacoby Myers will step up and be a key player for this Pete Carroll offense, especially after Brock Bowers' injury. I know it's day-to-day. I know it's not going to be a big injury. He should be back in week 2. But Jacoby Myers will step up in general. I think he really will. And, 8 catches, 97 yards. Great game right there for the man. And, he's been pretty good for the Raiders. He will continue to be, and he's going to break out and be a good receiver. And let's talk about the opposite side of the ball for receivers. Let's go with the cornerbacks. Our breakout player of this game was J.C. Horn. He's tied for first in the league with an interception, and that interception was great. Now, you might ask, TVOS, why are you putting J.C. Horn in breakout? We know he's an elite player, but I think that interception deserves more credit. That one-hand snag, that's going to put you into some type of category, and is going with the most surprising / breakout. I understand that maybe J.C. Horn does not deserve to be in the breakout because he's already broken out. We know that he's a quality corner, but that was a great interception. And going back to the offensive side of the ball, our number 5 for this list is Tyler Warren. He was a key piece for Daniel Jones. 22 for 29, 272 passing yard game. He had 7 receptions for 79 yards. Him and Michael Pittman Jr. both played really good receiving games. And Tyler Warren, as the rookie from Penn State, he's going to continue to break out for this offense and play really well. I think Tyler Warren, great game, 7 receptions for 79 yards, good game from the rookie. I think he has a good outlook on the rest of the season. And that was our surprising / breakout performances list. Let's hop into the opposite, disappointing performances, starting off with number 1, the Titans and Panthers wide receiver room. And, of course, we're excluding Tet McMillan. Let's hop into this analysis. There were many dropped passes from both teams' receiving course. Let's talk about, the Titans' last drive. They dropped the ball a bunch. The Bryce Young dropped some pretty great passes that were dropped and got turned into interceptions. My analysis, I get it. It's, if you guys have not seen the Instagram page of Booger McFarland. I'm sorry if I got his name wrong, but he makes the most obvious takes ever. If the Bears defense want to win tonight, they're gonna have to play defense. But it's kind of one of those takes right here. But the quarterback's not gonna play well if there's bad wide receiver play, and that's what you kind of have to you have to know looking at these stats. That these quarterbacks aren't going to look good on paper if their wide receiver is going to continuously drop the ball, and they're not going to win the game if their receiver is going to continuously to drop the ball. So it was very disappointing from both the Titans and Panthers wide receiver room. Calvin Ridley dropped a lot of balls. I've seen a video of Xavier Legette dropping the ball. But Tet McMillan, he played really good. That's why I excluded him from that disappointing performances. Hopping into the second disappointing performance, the entire Detroit Lions organization. After losing in the divisional to the Commanders, there's high expectations for this Lions team. They lost Ben Johnson. And I'm pretty sure, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, they might have also lost their defensive coordinator. So, so it's a brand new coordinating team. And I've seen a lot of memes of, people making fun of Dan Campbell switching out his playbook with a Waffle House menu and saying that he can't call up a good play. They did not meet those expectations at all, and they failed them in general. Their offense, bad. One interception thrown by Jared Goff. Goff, he can throw a lot of interceptions, but he threw an interception this game. And then their defense, bad. They couldn't stop the Packers, and they could not score in the red zone. And, they had a touchdown, but it was a last-minute touchdown pass, which I'm not giving them any credit for that. This entire Detroit Lions organization, I have them in the disappointing performances. Do I think this is how they're going to play out the entire year? No. I think they're going to get a lot better. Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely going to have to step up. 10 receptions, 31 yards, averaging 3.1 yards a reception. That's not what you like to see out of the Sonic for the Detroit Lions. So, yeah. The Detroit Lions, number 2 disappointing performance. Let's jump into number 3. I have the combination of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Yes, they won their game, but it was by 1 point to the Cleveland Browns, who had the number, 3 before they traded for it? The number 5 pick before they traded for it. An underwhelming win and an underwhelming performance from both men. Jamar Chase, 2 catches, 26 yards. You're telling me this guy was being drafted at number 1 in fantasy drafts, and he's putting up, 4.6 points? 2 catches, 26 yards? Yeah, that's 13 yards of reception, but 2 catches, come on. And Burrow, what's going on with Burrow? 113 passing yards? Tua Tagovailoa threw more yards than him, and he had 2 interceptions. Come on, bro. That offense was definitely carried by Chase Brown, who had a touchdown that game. And, congratulations to Chase Brown. He played really good. He exceeded my expectations in general as well. But, so the 2 of those guys really need to step up. I know that Burrow, he didn't play good in the first week. I think the last 2 seasons, he lost to the Patriots last year. And then maybe the season before that he played good. But I just remember him playing pretty underwhelming in the beginning of the year. But Burrow, Jamar Chase, disappointed week 1. I could see them being a lot better, first game fluke. But against the Cleveland Browns defense, you got to play a lot better. And, hopping into our 4th disappointing performance, our 4 out of 5, the last one before the last one. I'm sorry. The Eagles wide receiver room. It's another wide receiver room. Titans and Panthers, and now the Eagles. Now you might say, that was a really good victory against the Dallas Cowboys, but they ran a lot. Yes, that was their main offensive scheme, was to give Saquon the ball, give A.J. Dillon the ball, let Jalen Hurts run. With this addition of Tank Bigsby, yes, it's going to be used for special teams, but they're also going to give him the ball. Will Shipley's going to get the ball. But there is no reason why Pro Bowl wide receivers, A.J. Brown, should have 1 catch, and Pro Bowl wide receiver Devontae Smith, I think he made the Pro Bowl. I feel like he has made the Pro Bowl. If he hasn't, I am sorry. But Devontae Smith should not have that bad of a performance, along with A.J. Brown's 1 catch for 8 yards. I'm sorry. Devontae Smith has not made a Pro Bowl. I'm sorry. They both had bad performances, and yes, you can blame them on the offensive scheme, but I would like to see these guys get involved a lot more, as that will help the offense out a lot, who's somewhat struggled. They did not really struggle against the Cowboys defense. And our last and least on listing for disappointing performances is Jair Alexander. He plays for the Ravens, obviously, but you would think that he was playing for the Bills. He allowed many big plays. Got juked out by James Cook. He got juked out by Palmer Coleman. He allowed a big catch from Palmer Coleman. I've seen a lot of videos of people, talking bad about his game. And, he did not play good. The Ravens secondary is going to have to step up these upcoming games. This was probably their hardest game that they'll have to play. And you're going to have to see Jair, who even discredited himself for this game. He's going to have to step up. So a very disappointing game from Jair Alexander, who is a big playmaker for Green Bay. We're going to have to definitely see him step up. And let's get on to the positive side. Let's hop into the games of the week, why don't we? Starting off with the first game of the week, my number one game of the week. I think this is worldwide agreeable. Ravens at Bills, Sunday Night Football. It was a great game. Both quarterbacks played amazing. Both offensive played amazing. It was a crazy comeback at the end with 4 minutes left. And there's a game-winning field goal. There's no interceptions thrown. And they were the two of the best quarterbacks in the league playing football. So when you see that, you're going to watch that. It's like watching Brady and Manning back in the day. It's like, I don't even know. I mean, these two quarterbacks are a lot different than any other quarterbacks that we've had. They can run, they can throw, and they might not have the strongest wide receiver core, but they're still going to go out there and ball out. So that is my number one game of the week. My number two game of the week is Steelers at Jets. Game-winning 60-yard field goal. It was a great game from both players, great game from both quarterbacks. It was close the entire game, very high scoring as well. It's just what you would like to see out of a football game, especially from Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields, who were just on those opposite teams the previous year. So it had some storytelling to it, and I really enjoyed that game. I watched the last seconds of it. And last but not least, number 3, Chargers versus Chiefs in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It was a very close game. Two great quarterback play. The Chiefs offense couldn't really get going in the very beginning, but they ended up later in the game, but they could not stop the Chargers offense. That was just Justin Herbert's season. I mean, the dude was throwing all these passes, and they were perfect, and he was running and sliding. So congratulations to Justin Herbert and that Chargers team. And now we're just going to get into like the informational part of this video. We're going to talk about the key injuries. Xavier Worthy dislocated his shoulder. He ran into Travis Kelce in the very beginning of that game. He's expected to miss a bare minimum of 4 weeks and a max of 12 weeks to the end of the season. Very unfortunate. Prayers sent to him. I hope he gets better because the Chiefs are going to need him. Our second injury, we talked about it earlier, Brock Bowers, who hurt his knee. He was pulled from the Week 1 game, but he is expected to be fine and playing in Week 2, as he wanted to return back to that Week 1 game, but the trainers told him not to. And then our third key injury, Drake London. He sprained his shoulder. He's going day to day. We don't know what time he'll be back, but hopefully he'll be back for Week 2. Our fourth injury, and probably our most gruesome injury, George Kittle, who messed up his hamstring. He will be out for 3 to 5 weeks. He was just recently placed on IR. Staying with his 49ers team, Brock Purdy, he's going through a mixture of injuries, his toe and shoulder. He's questionable for Week 2. And then just to top off for all these 49ers fans, we have Juwan Jennings, whose shoulder is also hurt as well. And he's getting evaluated for that right now. He was actually almost got really hurt. I heard he actually missed his significant injury, which is very good for him. Adam Schefter just reported that not too long ago. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for tuning in to another TVOS video. I know this video is a little longer than usual, but I wanted to, inform you guys on the Week 1 performances and Week 1 of the entire NFL season. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Can't wait for the next video. Comment down below, like, subscribe, and I hope everybody else has a good rest of your day. Peace.